Today I'm going to show the exact system we have used to scale agencies all up from 20k a month up to people who do 350k a month on a recurring basis. So I'm going to show the exact funnel I've used, and I'm going to show, and with you, build a ClickUp system side by side, step by step on the whole process from start A to start B. So this will basically be a long video with out of data. So if you don't have an attention span and if you don't want to watch for at least 45 minutes or 40 minutes, then you probably should click off and give up already. But if you have the attention span, if you want to kind of actually grow and build a nice system, I'm going to show the exact process we have built for agencies. So glasses are on and we are ready, hopefully, right? So the funnel will look something like this. This is the exact funnel of the CRM flow I built for agencies, but also more specifically, of course, creative agencies. So in this case, we have, of course, our lead sources. We have website forms all the way to paid ads. Every single part doesn't really matter what you do. It still, of course, will be suitable to you. So if you do Instagram DMs, if you do handwritten letters to your neighbor, it still will work the same way, kind of, right? So we have the main ClickUp board, which will be the lead and sales lists. Then we have the CRM pipelines with kind of discovery sent, post sent. Then, of course, we have once the client is signed, we have dashboard views, client communications, asset library, and so on. And then, of course, client delivery and so on. So yeah, that was a super short tutorial, just kind of how we're going to build up the whole process. And more simply, we're going to use one leads and sales system, one client and onboarding system, and one for project delivery system, right? And that will be the core. Then once you, of course, have afterwards, you can have client communications, reportings, and so on. This will be the whole funnel we're going to be using today, and just follow along, sit back and just build with me. And if you want even more details, I'm going to have a 12-step free guide down in the linked description, completely free, on how to actually kind of master ClickUp and how to build one of the best ClickUp boards there is out there. So, of course, go off, sign up to ClickUp, get everything up and running. It's extremely cheap, $7, $12, $19, kind of depending on plan you use. Start with the business plan, in my opinion. Unlimited plan can work, but I do prefer business or business plus if you have the funds to pay $12 for a plan on a CRM system, right? It's super cheap. So, going to start by creating a space. The space I usually call the company name or agency name. I'm just going to call it my own name because my own company is called Well Design. You can upload your own logo, or you can just pick a predefined logo if you want, or just have a W. I'm just going to have a W because why not? And yeah, continue. We're going to use starter. We can have some, of course, ClickUp dev and so on. Sure, there's a bunch of things, but that, of course, is a bit more complicated, and I wouldn't touch that at all if you're a beginner or even a mediocre on ClickUp, right? So pick starter and pick create a space. Now, the easiest way of doing it is I also could just create 3 lists immediately. Let's do something like the leads. I just literally do leads and sales. Then I do active clients. And then we'll do project delivery. And those 3 are usually enough. If you're a super big company and have a bunch of different services, sure, go and upgrade. If don't, pick 3 lists and stick with it, because you can do an extremely smart way of still making it scalable. So in this case, I usually just write some nice people. If there's a contact or person info, maybe. Let's just use the first one. I do like the yellow ones on, of course, the leads and clients. Gray one on active or green one, and of course, project delivery. I do like having it black, to be honest, or white. Let's just do it white, to be honest. Pick your own colors, do whatever you want. It's not a super big deal, being completely honest. Then we have persons or people in this case. I do like just having some sort of symbolism, kind of showing what we do. Let's pick actually something else. I don't like that one. I've overused the normal person one way too much. Yeah, let's pick something else for once. I always pick the person one because I just think it fits so well. for active clients, but let's pick something else. Let's do, not sure to be honest. Let's pick something fun. What is fun? Let's pick Facebook. Not sure I was there. Is Instagram also there? It is. Interesting. Fun stuff. But yeah, let's pick something like the... not sure to be honest. Let's put the bell or address card. Or just align justify. Not sure. Something fun. Maybe Spotify is also in there. I never knew, to be honest. Let's pick this one. I think that's a good one. Or a pen. Or this one. Who cares? Let's just pick a pen, right? Pick whatever you find fun and just use something of it. Whatever. I don't think the pen fits. Let's just do person. This one. Perfect. Now, I usually just make this smaller. I usually just put in an example already. First one, of course, will be, of course, the task names. Edit status, put in the variables. I usually do new. I do contacted, follow up. I do meeting booked, sent, proposal, proposal signed. Sometimes not, depending on the client. And then we can just have lost, right? And complete will be basically 1. That's the thing. Now, colors, if you want to change them, contact, you should just leave yellow, follow-up should be red, meeting book should be blue, send proposal, or send proposal. Send proposal. That should be the right thing. And then we can have the orange one, and send proposal can also be in the reddish, maybe a bit darker in that case. Right, those should be the stages. You put in, of course, the clients. My first client is called Well Designed, because that's my company. I have contacted, I follow up, I have meeting booked with my client. And the first thing I think is super important, let's put another date field, not due date. Let's put and create the, I do have a bunch of fields from other boards. Last touchpoint date. Now, let's create the first automation. Like core, one by one, we do everything. Automate, you press on manage automations, you press on add automation, then you go into custom field, last touchpoint date. I think this is not possible. So the thing, let me just check. Right, yeah, so date custom field, so not custom field, date custom field arrives, and then we set status, change status to follow up. Of course, that's not correct. I couldn't think for once, so let me just check. Let's do it this way. Due date arrives, we're going to follow up, right? That's the thing. Now, another thing which is important, let me just see. Due date arrives, we're going to, of course, set status. In this case, we're going to change status to follow up. And of course, if status is any of the new. Of course, if a meeting booked and the due date comes, we don't want it auto-assigned, so only if it's new or if it's sent proposal, I think. Those are the 3 are the most important, right? So if due date arrives, we're going to move the status automatically. Super important. And then, once you have this, let's rename it, to be honest, to something more important. Due date or date arrives, who cares? Due date arrives, auto move to follow up. Now, and assign or comment. Other comment, I usually just task assignees, please follow up with the person ASAP. So it will look something like this. Hopefully it should work. Save, you assign myself. Last due date is attachment. Here we talked, let's say 2 days ago. But due date is today. Now this will trigger the automations. Of course you can't have a free plan and do all of this, so keep that in mind. You do have to pay for the platform. Just sign up with the link description. And yeah, once due date is today, so if due date has passed, it's going to automatically kind of run the whole thing. And of course, if it's a new, was it a new before? I don't think it was, being honest. So yeah, hopefully you get the point. It will, once due date is any of some proposals or new, you change status to follow up. I think it's quite self-explained. And another important thing, so let's say I had another task called WellD. I put myself, I put today. Now, another important automation I usually add is something like, you see it move now, perfect, it notifies me. That's besides the point. Date custom field arrives, let's touch on date. No, that's not the correct one. Let's just do that later. Well assign, yeah, it notifies me, follow up with this person ASAP. Well, perfect, it works. That's the first automation done and dusted. You can do this with Slack and much of other systems if you want, WhatsApp, email, whatever you want. But I won't cover that because that's quite more complicated. It will take me a bunch more time. So yeah, now more fun things with the dropdowns, of course, and we'll do lead source. I do have this already probably, so I don't have to write everything manually again. Lead source like 4 times, perfect. Add, and we have call out to referral, LinkedIn, and so on. Perfect. So you can add where the lead coming from. If you want, completely up to you. We can have, of course, websites. We can have emails. We can have first names or name. And of course, company names. Like some important stuff. Company name, we can have head count, which I usually just add as well. Head count. We can usually text head count or ranges if you want the documents. That's completely up to you. Website, we just put my own website. Contact email, my own email, of course. Then we have client name. We have company name. We have, of course, head count, let's say 10. Yeah, that's basically it. Priority if you want, completely up to you. But this would be an extremely simple system we can use. We'll just kind of have everything on board with all the clients. Extremely simple. I do always something like this, the sending. And let me just check if this is possible, because I'm not sure, to be honest. If task, task shot unlocked, task linked, task changes. Let's say, should we not add this? Task is created. Okay, let's move it. So yeah, this will be it. And then of course, to make it even easier, we'll just call it main list. I add a board called the form board, where I add all the clients, project intake. I just write client intake form. I add a cover, upload, creative, well designed logos. This one probably doesn't really fit, who cares? Should work anyways. Settings, I usually just do dark, buttons green, color custom by just searching, to be honest, by like pattern. I usually just use, it's the easiest way of finding things. Like this, nice. This looks completely ugly. Do I have a white one? I do. Of course this doesn't fit, but that's besides the point. Nice, we have that done. We have a new preview form. Let's move this to blue. Let's change clients. Add clients through this form. Now let's just change a thing, project name, or I used to just do leads name. Let's add all the questions. What questions do we have in this board? Well, we have, of course, headcount. Headcount of the company. You can write whatever you want. Questions, we have, of course, perfect. Not sure what I just did. Let me see if I can get this back, of course. Like this. Perfect shortcuts. I just exposed myself for listening to white noise because I'm going insane. Hopefully this fits. Perfect. Now client name, of course. Then we add the leads name settings. Let's add a couple more fields which I think are important. Let's put lead source. Let's put the what else have we used? Client name, mail, contact email. What else do we have? Website. And that's about it, which I think. And of course you can put just due date if you want, because why not? Why not put due date? Right, and then we put settings. We auto assign myself. So let's just do a test. Let's the copy link. We copy this into a new field. We've entered a name called Maximilian. He's super fun. Priority high. Headcount of company. We have 50 employees. Client name is myself. Lead source. I found myself on cold outreach. Contact email, my own. Website URL. I have to do it off tomorrow. Submit. And just like that, everything got done. Of course, if you go back into the board, we can of course put show recaptcha, hide ClickUp banding, and so on, if you want. And of course, we have a new respond. This automatically gets added. I forgot company name I now saw, but yeah, hopefully it makes sense. And then you can just see all the responses inside of here, of course, as well. Super simple to add clients, and now I think your client lead list is done. Of course, you can connect this with Make, connect it with Typeform and Google Ad funnels, Meta ad funnels, whatever you use. You can connect it automatically. You don't have to use the ClickUp forms. You can auto-create through funnels, and I do have a guide on that on my channel, so check that out. I think it's like common automations on ClickUp or something. So let me just see. Perfect. And the final automation will be something like this. We're going to automate. We're going to press. We're going to add automation. And we're going to say once custom field or status changes to closed. We create a task name, list, well-assigned active clients, select template. Let's pick the later down the line. And I'll just press create at the moment, right? Now, let's just do something like this so we can see that it moves. If I just press on 1, nice, it should add a client inside of here. Hopefully like this, auto moves all the clients, you don't have to manually do it. Or you can just drag them, to be honest, like this. Or just drag them like this and just put them if you want. But you don't have to do it, and you can just press on the 1 tab as well. So active clients, in this one I want to have templates. So we're going to use just X or client name. Add subtask. Going to send welcome email. So this will be the onboarding template. Send welcome email book kickoff call, set up meta pixel. We're going to, of course, add, not sure, let's say add meta pixel, set up Google Drive folder, and then let's say just add them to Slack. That would be the first template, right? I think that's quite simple, and that would be the active clients. The thing is, of course, we won't add it inside of here. We'll do two things. First of the things we'll do is, of course, in this case, we're going to save template, save as a template, and call it client onboarding, like this. I should probably auto-sign people and so on. If I forgot, let's just do it quickly, auto-sign myself. Due date of welcome email is today, some kickoff call is tomorrow. Book of meta pickers, let's say within a week, which is quite late, set up folder within 2 days, add on to Slack within a day. Like this maybe, I think that makes more sense. Then we can just, due date for total will be Friday, Saturday. And then we'll just press on templates, save as a template, call it onboarding clients template YouTube, and save template. We're going to now do two things. We're going to, of course, auto create the tasks inside of here, and in here I don't want to, so I'm going to do it like this. We're going to press automate, press on automations, auto create tasks. We're going to create a task, task name, active clients, and not active clients actually. We're going to put in the client project delivery. Select template, the one we just created, use template. Description, doesn't really matter if you have one. If you do, that's perfect. Start date, tags, assignees, everything leave as B because we do have a template on the inside here. And we can also, of course, if we can create a task name, and then we're going to actually move everything like we just did. So we're going to, of course, put in the status. Obviously, I think we have to do it another way. Select list, we're going to select, of course, the second list. Select template, no, I don't want a template. Of course, assignees, I can put myself, in this case, tag. Oh, that was wrong, of course. This would be the right one. Start date, whatever, tags, assignees, I'm gonna auto-assign myself. Status, in this case, in progress. Status, in this case, to do, or just to do. I have to change this status names. But just like that, I think also want to move, of course, the rest. How would this work then? Can we create the pen relay? No, we can't. We can move a task, which I, to be honest, want to do. I've had a bunch of problems with this, which is sad, being honest. List active clients templates. Not sure what just happened, to be honest. Let's see if I have task name, task, then we have, of course, task name, list active clients, we're going to status to do. Something happened here, not sure what. Let's just press on save at first. Then, the thing I'm wondering about is, because easiest way of moving things, of course, is not within the list. So the thing I usually do, status, what information we have. Okay, let's just do it like this. Set custom field, of course, contact email. I don't think that will work if I just press on 1. The thing is, this won't move now, right? That's the problem. Nice, we have created a task inside of here with 5 different subtasks. Everything worked fine. Auto sign me got a bunch of notifications, sadly enough, like this. Perfect, we have the task, auto sign everything. We did not create the client inside of here, so let's actually do it another way. Let's do it like this. Let's remove this, save. Let's do the same thing. Task or subtask status changes to closed, and then just move to a list if that's possible. Move to active clients. I do have move and keep current. So going to contacted, to do, it's going to just be to do, just all to do. Perfect. Now I can of course add the field. So we have client name, we have email, we have website, we're going to have the, what else do we have? Drop down, I think. Oh no, it's going to be the lead source. Yeah, I do have a bunch of different ones now. Hopefully this should work if I am correct. Like this. So then we can move everything. Hopefully this should work. I've had a bunch of problems with this, sadly enough, with the moving of tasks inside ClickUp. You can do it with make, of course. I'm not saying you can't. Let me just pick if this works. Probably wouldn't work, what I'm aware of. But maybe we have a chance. Who knows, right? Perfect, right? Let's see if I can move this without it being wrong. Obviously, can remove this one. It will of course auto. So okay, it did move everything. That's perfect. So it does work. We did create another task called wallet sign. In this case, because I call it wallet sign. So as you can see, extremely simple. The thing I do now, after this stage, like you can see, truly it has taken me like 20 minutes to do everything. Extremely easily with ClickUp. You don't really have to do anything manually. You can automate more things. You can just kind of move it without a problem. So I highly recommend just creating one list for leads, one for active, and one for project delivery. So keep those 3 separate, because I'm going to show you exactly why now. So active clients and delivery should be separate because it can be quite messy. So what I do is I usually just do a relationship task like this, and you select a list, which you just created like this, and call it client. Create client, and then we're going to have it like this. We're going to add the client name. So in this case, we have with assigned. I'm just going to add the client like this. So if I ever have to find like information about the client or delivery, we can just go into here, press on delete, and we can have everything inside of here with all the information filled out, like contact name, contact email, website, and so on. Extremely simple, right? So we're going to have one list for delivery, will be all for delivery, and we will see an auto sign, of course, all of this stuff. As you can see, due date tomorrow, today, and Friday, and that's about it. Extremely simple to use for leads and sales. Then we have active clients and we have project delivery. So now hopefully you can play around with those 3 leads, kind of create whatever fits and kind of whatever makes sense. I'm just going to clear this. Yeah, so do that, create those 3 lists, just follow it, create those automations. Extremely simple. Now, more fun stuff. We're going to do the same thing here. Due date arrives. We're going to actually set a custom field, and we're going to auto. Let's just save it like this for a quick thing. let's customize these fields. To due date over red, or due date past due date red, completed, and then just churned, to say, let's just say churned, or yeah, churned. Completed, which I usually leave it like for them, churned like this, and then we have past due date in progress. You can add a bunch of fields in here. This is totally dependent on what you do for the client and kind of how you deliver stuff. I just usually keep it simple as possible. You can add a bunch of fields. I usually just do drop downs because I think it's easier. So in this case, we're going to create another automation like this. Due date arrives, and we're going to have, of course, and if status is any of not started and active, right? And then we're going to comment. We're going to at the assignee saying, hey, get this done ASAP, due date is passed, and we're going to move the task change status to, it's not here, perfect. Let me just see one more time. Past due date, why did it not show up? Not sure. It's past due date, perfect. I'm just like that. So once it's due, let's say it's due today, it's going to move the whole task to another board like past due date, and it auto assigns me with a nice comment saying, hey, get this done ASAP, due date is passed. Totally recommend having that, of course, as well, super important. And then, of course, just max out this list with all the stuff you do. Create the templates like this. You can customize this however you want. You can do a bunch of other stuff inside of here. Example, let's say we usually do something like this. Once add automation, once, let me just say, custom field changes from, I only have one custom field, perfect. Let me just check. Right, so like this, we have manage automations, add automation. Once subtasks are resolved, and of course the subtasks are, let me just see, right, and just like this, and drop down, I just have to check the logic. Stage, let's just say onboarding or active, or we have something called complete. Onboarding yellow, active blue, and complete green, like this. So if stage is equal to onboarding and like this, and custom date field is equal to stage equal to onboarding, we create subtasks and call it whatever you want. Let's call it start writing copy. You can create templates for this, of course, as well. Create subtask. Yeah, do, of course, I think there's a problem with this as well. Do, of course, the let me just write it and show you. Write copy and review copy, who cares, right? So only once the stage has, and we have to do another thing. And of course, set custom fields stage to the active, and we can do the same thing there. So if I now resolve everything for the client, I press on complete, of course, complete, and complete, complete, and complete. It's going to auto-create new tasks for me. It's going to update the stage, and we're going like the same thing here. Out creates stage active with 2 new tasks, and we can do the same thing over and over again until you're done with the client. Because usually you don't want all the, of course, the stuff at the beginning. We do review copying, and then we can have some monthly tasks that only recur monthly as well if you want that. But yeah, that's more complicated logic with some due dates and so on. And if you have monthly recurring tasks, just do like a renewal date. I don't have this in here. Just go for date. Just go for renewal date, and then of course set this a month ahead. Once, like let's say you renew every 5th, it auto creates automation. Automate once date, custom field arrives renewal date. We create subtask saying hey, write new content, and then we're just going to do add days, date, custom fields. Set custom fields to the renewal date, select a date, fields from trigger. This will trigger date, and just write 30 days, right? So once the renewal date comes, it's going to add another 30 days, and it keeps renewing new tasks, right? So let's say the due date comes, which is today. It's going to create a new tasks out of here and kind of keep renewing, and of course automatically add 30 days, you can see inside of here, to the last of the month, and it adds the subtasks as you saw. So that's how we create recurring monthly tasks in a very super simple and easy way for you. Of course you can make it complicated, but hopefully you understand the logic to create it yourself. So that would be the core of the ClickUp with the 3 lists, kind of what we've done: auto assign people, auto move people, auto create tasks, stages, assignees, and so on. Everything done automatically. But 2, of course, to fill up the board, we are not done yet, right? We can have the values. There's a bunch of logic behind that for like revenue stage and so on, but that's, I think, for a later stage. I think it's better to just focus on the dashboards because that's one of the most and easiest beginners things. So I usually pick simple dashboards because you can have, I have run out from my AI. No, I've got more AI. Yeah, okay. So you can have everything inside of here, like tasks due, task by assignee, open tasks, everything basically important for you. But I usually kind of mix with this because I don't need this. I usually never use this, to be honest. I don't need to use the I just have to move them, right? So I'm going to have task completely slick. I have this smaller. Let's see if I can move this somewhere who looks better. I can have it like this, have 50 and have like this, task like this, and like this. We can move this up to here, activity, and then I usually just make this smaller, and then I usually just do the add card. We're going to add a card called, it's the discussion, so you can chat and so on. ClickUp has just actually launched like a Slack channel inside of ClickUp, which is quite sick, being honest. This one called chat. We can chat inside of the ClickUp with multiple people and boards and so on. It can sync with Slack, and yeah, quite cool feature. And you can of course jump on voice calls. So you have basically limited most of the platforms you use. You can have everything in one platform, right? So super useful. I do like ClickUp about releasing that feature. Quite cool. Goals, poses, playing with it. There's a bunch of features in here, but yeah, discussions. Inside of here, I usually move this up to the top, but I can't be bothered to move everything, so I'm just going to leave it like this. Or if you just want to, of course, you can just have a list. So I'm just going to do something like this. Create a dashboard, start from scratch, and we'll just do discussions, right? Like, truly the most important would be discussions, in my opinion. We can just kind of chat, say, get the, so hey, tag me, get well assigned, done today. I get notified, I can press on the tasks, get it done, super easy. like a team discussion place, right? Also, some fun stuff I think is important. There's a bunch of AI features, AI brains, and so on. That's for another video because that's totally another line of complicated stuff. It's not complicated, but there's definitely a learning curve for that. So yeah, important stuff I do use is of course task lists, like tasks overdue. So we can just put filters. Of course, we can put filter through due date is last 7 days or the next 7 days, right? Probably two most important tasks, but there are a bunch of workload statuses, team boards, and so on. There is a bunch of stuff which you can do, and overall do recommend having in board, right? So play around with it, use all the features, and kind of there's a bunch of stuff you can sync and connect. Calendars, of course, is a big thing where you can use with your Google Calendar and your Apple Calendar automatically through ClickUp. Also highly recommend, and of course you can just filter and put, of course, I think you can customize by using something called, hopefully it's inside of here, called Me Mode. Me Mode is just seeing tasks that are just for you. Obviously this won't work because all the tasks will just be for me in this case. But yeah, use Me Mode. You can see the tasks just for you. You can filter through past due dates. And for the last thing I want to touch about is of course the churned option. So the churn option, of course, would want to be something like this. Instead of having a filter, so just use filter. So status, if status is not started, done, and closed, right? And you create another list. In this case, list, and then you have here, call it. I just grouped this. Not sure what I just did. Right, so I just grouped this if you want, but yeah, you don't have to have them. We have lists. Instead of lists, we can have. Did I save? Let's ungroup by type. Let's just not have it grouped. Let's pick active projects, and let's pick churned clients, right? And that's about it. And then we just put filters. Status is option off, active, not closed, done. You can do the same thing for closed clients if you want. In this case, I'm just going to do like this. Customize, autosave. I want to pin this view because I think it's important. And then we do another thing for another one. Let's just add a task called well-designed. We create the churned option. Now these tasks won't be available here, but if you just use filters inside of here, status is equal to churned. And just like that, we have that option. So yeah, super simple to use. Instead, just have it like this. One for churn and one for active clients. Obviously, I have to save this. Done, saved, customized, autosave, and just like that, we have it saved. And yeah, so I have one for churn clients and one for active clients. Extremely simple to use. You can, of course, don't have it. You can, if you want. Some people do prefer this. Some tasks we can have separate. So you see it like this. Or just if expanded, so you see it under the client. Instead of having to, of course, manually press on it every single time to open it, you can have it either separate, like this, which I don't recommend, or expand like this. So you don't have to manually every time press on the, of course, expand or not expand tasks. So the logic behind it, of course, is you add clients. Instead of here, it auto creates clients. Once client is one, it auto creates, instead of active clients, it auto creates all deliverables with client name. And I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you can do besides this. I mean, there's endless of stuff you can do in ClickUp. I mean, sky is truly the limit inside of the platform, and that's why I just prefer it much over the other platforms like Monday and HubSpot and Asana and every single task management platform, because they're just not on the same level in terms of scalability, custom solutions, and overall the automations part. Like, sure, I've done a bunch of automations for like Monday, but I always have to use like external platforms like Make just to create simple automations, which is it's an absurd thing to do, to be honest. So highly recommend using ClickUp. Much better, much scalable, and overall a much better option for you and for your team to build everything. So yeah, highly recommend. And if you need help with ClickUp, of course, just contact me and I'll always be there. And I have a 12-step free guide on all the solutions and kind of all the important stuff when creating a custom ClickUp board. So yeah, let me know, and happy to kind of discuss things further and help you out. So yeah, thank you for watching, and until the next one.